Tribe, this is Vidette. I am coming to you for Mindfulness Monday with a video that I think will help give you a daily practice that has worked magic for me. And I was so in my head, to be quite honest, about like, what am I going to do this week? What am I going to do this week? And I get so excited about sharing some of the practices that have made a big difference in my own life. And yet I remembered that I was just in my head and thinking too much and really wanted to drop down into a space of what would I really love to share. And this is one of my favorites, so I thought I would share with you on this first real Mindfulness Monday, the Emotional Devotional. So what the heck is that? I love the word devotion. I think it comes from the heart in my mind, and what it means to me is something that comes from the heart. We're devoted to our children. We're devoted to health and well-being. We might be devoted to going to the gym or devoted to a certain cause. There's daily devotionals for those who follow the Bible. So it's a beautiful practice to be devotional. Something that I am very devoted to is consistently paying attention to how I'm feeling. And overall, that's kind of what Mick Tribe and TheMindinColor is all about, is keeping ourselves emotionally well so that we can be in a space of consciously creating life. So the daily devotional, emotional devotional, is really getting into a practice or a lifestyle of being in tune with how we are feeling. And there's so many interesting things about emotions, but I think the big overall umbrella is that we do have them. We sometimes avoid feeling them, and yet they are always visible in our life. Maybe not visible. They're always they're always felt, right? We're always feeling something. And as long as we are aware of them more often than not in our daily practice, means we are in the consciousness and the awareness of creating emotional well-being. So the emotional devotional is all about keeping tabs throughout the day of where you are emotionally and choosing at that point when you decide to check in with yourself what you're going to do about the emotions that you're feeling. Emotions tend to stick, so to speak, or show up in specific areas, or specific emotions show up in specific areas of our physical body. So on the Emotional Devotional worksheet that you can download, I have a couple of questions to help you check in with yourself. I would recommend leaving this in your bathroom or maybe even your car. If you work in an office, put it at your desk. That way you are seeing it and remembering and are triggered. Yeah, I just dropped it. You're triggered to check in with yourself. Let me grab it. So when you're checking in with your emotions, you're actually in a space then to say, do I want to keep this emotion or do I want to get rid of it? Or release it is more like it. So on here, what you'll see up here is the feeling I feel most in my chest. Again, this is getting you in touch with the emotion and what it is, identifying the emotion. So what I feel right now in my chest, if I were to be honest, is it feels anxious, it feels tight. And I would name that anxiousness. I was busy this morning and knew I wanted to get this video done, but had to do it in time to run and go grab my son. So it feels like a lot in one day. And I feel it here. So, okay, I'm in tune with that. Now I'm going to move on to the feeling I feel most in my head is, well, I have felt this a lot today. And it's kind of like determination, but not the the positive side of determination. I'm determined to get all of this done, right? So it might be determination, it might be a little bit of frustration, but I can feel like the dull ache of a tension headache. So I'm tuning into my body. Okay, I'm feeling it right here, feeling it right here. The feeling I feel most in my gut is not as much feeling as much there. It's mostly here and here. So now in this practice, I'm in tune now with what I'm feeling. Do I want to keep that? Not really. I don't want to feel anxiousness and I don't want to feel tension. So one of the practices that is so vital to being in devotion to our emotional well-being is not only identifying what it is, but if we identify that we don't want to keep it, to practice something that allows us to dissolve it at that moment and move on so that we are clear. If I carry this for the rest of the day, it's going to continue to get heavier and heavier. And by dinner time or whatever, that's going to put me in a place of well-being that is going to be unhealthy. I might be impatient at that point. From my own experience, I know I'll be impatient or just hurrying through dinner or frustrated that I have to figure out dinner. So if I'm in the practice and create a lifestyle of every day being in devotion to my emotional well-being, I then am also in a practice of releasing what I want to release and embracing what I want to embrace. So I have written down here, this is a process to process your emotions. So this is mostly about letting go or releasing the emotions. But what I want to preface it with is it comes from this book. It's called Releasing Emotional Patterns with Essential Oils. It's extremely valuable of a book to keep around. It'll have specific oils that will help you in releasing specific emotions. There's been so much research around oils and how they help us immediately create emotional balance so that we can go deeper into our emotions. The other fascinating piece is it has drawings of the body and where the emotions typically sit on the body, and it'll give you alarm points. So it's based on the acupuncture, the acupuncture points that acupuncturists use to get the chi or the energy of our body in a consistent flow. So the energy body is also in relation to our physical body. So it'll show you if you have an emotion that keeps showing up, where in the body it shows up, and where the alarm point is so that you'll know where to put the essential oils. But I'm going to give you kind of a very general process to follow with emotions in case you don't have this resource, in case you can't just flip through a book real quick to figure it out. You're at work, you're in traffic, you're feeling anxious. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to pull out an oil. I'm going to use joy oil for the, because I talk about it all the time for the purposes of this simple process. And what we're going to do is just put one drop on your hand, on your non-dominant hand, okay? It's on your non-dominant hand. You're going to take your finger and circle it around 3 times. This activates the oil. So what you're going to do is first name the emotion. I already named it, feeling a little anxious in my chest. And then I'm using this, so I'm using the same words as I have written here so you can follow along. I'm going to name the other side of the emotion. Basically, it's where do I want to go? If I don't want to feel this, what do I do want to feel? So the book will give you words that will give you the opposite of an emotion. However, I like to choose my own because the words and the language that we use are so embedded in our subconscious mind. So I want to use words that will be recognizable and that will allow my subconscious mind to connect with that word. So if I'm feeling anxious, the other side of that for me is freedom. Like I want to be free. I want my heart to be open and free. So what I'm going to do is activate the oil. For now, I'm going to use my heart as an alarm point. I'm going to rub the oil around my heart space. Okay. And I'm going to be conscious of it. I'm going to make it a mindful practice. Okay. Then I'm going to rub my hands together and I'm going to take 3 deep breaths while connecting to the feeling I don't want. I'm going to connect with the anxiety that I'm, feeling. Okay. And the point here is you're connecting to it. You're feeling it. Some of these are the things that we typically as humans want to run away from. We don't want to feel it. We don't want to feel it, but we have to. Living in this lifestyle of emotional wellness, you gotta feel it. So I'm going to connect now with the anxiety that I'm feeling. Taking a deep breath, connecting, feeling it. It's hard to take a real deep breath. Taking another one. Connecting again to the heaviness here. Okay, exhaling, connecting again. Yeah, feeling it again, okay? Now I'm going to connect with the other side of it, the freedom that I want to feel, okay? Taking a deep breath, inhaling freedom, taking breath from here, blowing it out. What we're doing is inhaling from that heaviness as we are keeping in our consciousness the idea of freedom, or the opposite of what you are trying to release. So again, breathing from here. What you'll notice is as you breathe, you will start to have the feeling lessen and lessen. It's pretty fascinating actually, because as you breathe it in and breathe it out, what's coming is the feeling, it's letting go. It's the feeling of freedom. Okay, one more. Now, depending on how in this emotion you are, you may want to sit for a little bit longer and breathe. Now, you also might be in a place where you can't just sit and stop and do this, but you can always do it consciously no matter what you're doing. If you're in traffic, you can still do something like this. You can just breathe in the oils or just use your bottle and do this. But it's a process of letting go and replacing with what you want. And then you can affirm. Finish the process by affirming, my direction is clear. And what that's basically telling your subconscious mind, getting you back into alignment, my direction is clear to feeling freedom. I already feel lighter because I've breathed through the anxiousness, and now I'm open to welcoming in freedom. It's a beautiful process, one that I use many times. Sometimes I don't use oil, sometimes I just use breath work. Wherever I am will determine what I do. However, when I am emotionally in tune with my emotions, I am at that point able to be aware and work in the direction constantly throughout my day to emotional well-being. My phone's ringing. I forgot to turn it off. Hopefully this video is helpful to you. I'd love for you to share in the comments below if you're using this, if you're using something like it. Share your experience with processing and working through your own emotions throughout the day so that we can all learn from you as well what works for you, what keeps you clear, what keeps you in tuned and emotionally well. We want to hear. Thanks for being here until Wednesday for Wednesday Wellness. I look forward to seeing you. Bye. Mwah.